What's up, guys? It's me, Trevon James, Dap Trevon, and I'm back with an update. So here we are looking at the Bitcoin price. Let's look at some technicals. Let's get into the technicals first. So we have Bitcoin in this descending symmetrical triangle, whichever you want to call it. I have it on the lows, so this is symmetrical, but if you draw it from the closes, it's descending. So we had this attempt to cross above. Well, we did get across, but the price never really could get any momentum with the follow through as we dumped right after the cross, and we just couldn't get back above. So we were pretty much remaining bearish. And now we're about to get another cross on this 1334. And what's interesting about this cross, which is, why one thing I'm learning about these moving averages is, as far as 1334 is once in a consolidation area, you might as well just wait and just let this play out instead of trying to go with the moving averages. So I'm just waiting to see what happens on the breakout. I mean, trying to jump in and get bullish right here, you're going to probably get wrecked, and same thing for going down. Now, as it gets close to the end, the final one is going to be the final one. Like if we get this cross right here, and then so tomorrow when we get the cross, if we get it open and we don't start to moon back up and we start to chart our way down, then I'm going to start saying it's probably going to break below here. And I think it will, because the backed launch is the 23rd, and that's always sell the news. It's never any different. Every time you're like, well, maybe this time, it's never like that. It's always sell the news. Every event since I've been in crypto has always been sell the news. No matter where the price is at the moment, it might go up, but sell. Like, just sell. It's always sell the news. So I'm pretty much certain that it's gonna break down. But I didn't want to go on crypto weather and say that and then be wrong. So I think it's gonna break down, but I do think as soon as it breaks down, it's gonna bounce right back up and start heading back up and get everybody, shook. It might break even below like 8,000, like to test this support back here. But anyway, TRX. I guess I could talk longer about Bitcoin. There's no rush, right? TRX BTC. Now TRX is also starting to look a lot better. Good volume coming in, but we don't have a cross yet, so I'm not getting too excited yet. And this has happened a couple times before. Well, it happened here, and also happened back here, where that first one is you don't really want to get into the first one. You want to just make sure. So even if this crosses, I'm going to be cautious, because it needs to go sideways. Even if it goes all the way up here, I don't think I'm going to chase it. I'm going to let it, pull back and correct and hold its lows. So I want to look at the weekly, because I want to be very cautious, because I'm tired of trying to catch the bottom. Like catching the bottom, wrecked every time. So, this weekly chart just is kind of like, it tells me that, when you get the cross, you do the opposite, at least on how it's been on the weekly chart. So I can't really say on the weekly, I'm gonna wait till I get a cross on the weekly, because if I wait till I get the cross on the weekly, as you can see, that's like most of it's gone, right? But what I can say is if we get a close above this 13, I will probably start to get bullish, like here, where it closes above here, wrecked. Right? Wrecked. You waited for this one. But not really, because you just hold and just wait for the higher low. And then if it breaks below here, then you get out. But you're going to lose a lot, because this is a weekly time frame. So from here, 411 to 300, you're going to lose nearly half of your money. But I do think I'll start scaling in once we get above this 13. And how I'm going to scale in is, what are they called? Hourglass contracts. So I'm thinking, you know, P3D had a, is P3D Gandhi. I'm going to talk about Gandhi. Let's get a look at Gandhi. You know, let's show it some love. Now, Gandhi is a very old, I don't have MetaMask on here. Maybe they'll still let me look. But Gandhi is a very old hourglass contract. Now, if you aren't familiar with hourglass contracts, let's go over to POWH.io where it all started. This is on Ethereum, right? So basically how these work are, I don't have MetaMask, so I can't pull it up. But basically how these work is when you buy in, it's a lot like Bankroll. It's really, Bankroll is built off of this type of coding where when you buy in, you lose 10% right off the bat. That 10% goes to you buy the tokens. So you buy these IND tokens, and when you buy in, you lose 10% of your value off the rip. And that 10% goes to everyone who's already holding the tokens. So now you're a token holder, but your 10% went to everybody else. Same thing happens when you sell. 10% goes to everyone who sells. That 10% goes to everyone who's holding. And so you have to make your initial 20% back. Now, P3D was the first one. Now, what I love about these things is they go forever. You know, as long as there's a UI, you really don't even need a UI if you know how to interact with the smart contract on Etherscan or, you know, or on Tron contract or whatever the website is for that. As long as you know how to interact with the contract, you can get in and out. So they go forever as long as there is a way to interact with the smart contract. Now, what I learned recently, which I'm very excited about, is that these can be revived. So what happens is a lot of times when they pump up with a bunch of TRX or a bunch of Ethereum to their all-time high. So let's look at proof of weak hands. I'm going to get the Bankroll, but I want to set the foundation. Now this is proof of weak hands, the first one. Now what we see is these pumps in the beginning, and then we see the die down, and then we see a lot like a real natural exchange where sellers run out of tokens to sell. So when that happens, the floor is established and then you get another pump. So right now, P3D is going through that exact same thing where it's taking a long time because it pumped up to nearly 100,000 Ethereum in the contract, but it's draining and draining and draining. And once there's no more selling, people start to buy in and it will start to pump again. And that's what we just experienced with IND. Now, I didn't get into this. I missed it because I was skeptical because I know how hourglasses work. But now that I know that they can last forever, I have a new strategy about getting into these. And that strategy is getting into the things when the prices of the coin that they are running on, like Ethereum or Tron, are at a low. So that's just the foundation. So let me go over to Bankroll. This is my first account right here. This is the account where I just chip away and just throw some in every now and then. It's up to 13,000 and I made 1.4 TRX in the past hour. And that is not shit. It's not shit. I'm not here to say that that's a lot of money, but I do think that things like this can be great at the bottom, because if you get into them at the bottom and just stay in them while the price is going up on TRX. So let me go over to my secondary account, the one where I put the 50,000 TRX in. So this is the account that I started off with 50,000 TRX 22 days ago. In that 22 days, I have earned 1.327K. So 1,372 TRX in my divs. Now I haven't rolled this. I'm going to start rolling because I think if I roll, that'll probably speed up my ROI. I was going to not roll because if I wanted to do it really natural, like if I just put it in there and just walked away, but that's not really natural because a person is probably going to be rolling to get their money back. So I have to get this to 55,000 before I can say I'm in all green because I've already lost 5,000 and I'm going to lose another 5,000 when I withdraw. So I need to get it to 55, if that makes sense. So it's been 22 days. So 1,327 is almost 3% of 50,000. So that means in less than a month, really, in less than a month, 22 days, I earned 3% of my total deposit back. So that means that in about, feeling like in about 4 months, maybe I will be breaking even. Now that's a long time. It's a very long time. I'm not saying that this is great, but I do think once I'm in profit, it will be cool, especially what I found out last night. So, kind of not getting to a bank teller, but somebody poked at him, and so he says, we got a lot of things in the works. Credits is going to get a couple of juicy streams, but it works now. After Luck is released, that 10% fee going in and out is going to lose the sting. So after elaborating some more, basically, you're going to mine Banker. So let's look at the Banker price. So Banker is at 11 TRX right now. So what he's saying is when you buy into credits, starting, I guess, sometime after this weekend when he implements it, he says sometime this weekend, now this is cool. Now, when you buy in credits, starting with the new Luck, you're going to buy in credits and you're going to get a lucky roll between 0 and 2020. That is going to tell you how much percent back you get in Banker. So I'm not really quite sure, but basically you're going to get a bonus. You're going to get Banker back that you can sell on the market to recoup a piece of that 10%. Your deposit to credits is applied to Banker mining difficulty, and voila, Banker with every buy with up to 25%. So 0 to 25. I said, so what determines how much the bonus is? He said it's a random roll between 0 and 25. So basically you're going to mine Banker at a cost between 20 TRX and 200 TRX. So it's going to be dope. It's going to be make it a lot less painful to get in and out because you're going to be getting Banker, which you can hold, stake, or sell instead of just taking that punch in the face, that 10%. So this is dope. This is day 22 of credits. Bankluck.co. Link is in the description. I think these types of things, these types of contracts where you're gonna take that loss in the beginning, but once you're in, it's pretty much smooth sailing. Once you're in profit, you're pretty much smooth sailing. How long that takes is definitely dependent upon the volume, and it's dependent upon the leaders of the community to create that volume to get people in and out, so people can continue to ROI. That is the only problem, is the volume. So make sure that when you're getting into these things, that you're getting into them, getting into the ones that are going to have volume. He says it's going to have a lot of volume, so I would wait until the new credits is implemented, where the luck is implemented, before you buy in, if you're going to buy in, so that you get a less, for people like me who bought in early, it kind of sucks, but that's how it goes, and that's how he rolls. He gets in, he does things, makes them better, where if you would just wait until he's completely done, it would be much better. Like, subscribe, turn the post notifications, and don't talk to me unless it's about decentralized applications. Peace.